She cheated for 4 years. Because she was bored, then came back begging. I found out the truth, and what she said in the car broke me all over again. Imagine being married for 17 years, raising 3 daughters, and then one day, she just walks out. No warning. And the reason? I was bored. Stay with me, because what happened next is beyond shocking. I'm 42, she's 41, and we've been married for 19 years. We've got 3 sons, ages 17, 15, and 13. We've been together since high school, so it's been about 23 years now. At this point, I don't have much to go on, only a few bits and pieces. 4 days ago, she came home from work looking like a wreck. She had to work on the 4th, but when she got back, she seemed frantic, crying, emotional, packing an overnight bag in a rush. I only know this because our oldest daughter was home and saw it happen. She tried talking to her, but my wife couldn't say a word, just kept crying and acted like she was having a full-blown panic attack. And hey, if you think this is already messy, just wait. The real twist is coming. Since then, she hasn't replied to any of our texts or calls. I reached out to her parents, and after some time, they finally got back to me. All they said was that she's safe and staying with them, and that we should be patient and understanding. That's it. I also tried getting in touch with her sister, her brother, and even one of her close friends from work. Her brother claimed he didn't know anything. The friend told me my wife had shown up to work that morning, then disappeared around lunchtime, and no one's seen her since. So now it's been 4 full days without a word from her, not even a message to the kids. No one's giving us answers. I'm here trying to keep things together for our 3 girls, and they keep asking me what's going on. All I can tell them is that their mom is at their grandparents' place and that we're supposed to wait. But waiting like this? It's tearing me up. Every part of me wants to just grab the kids, jump in the car, and drive the 3 hours to her parents' place without warning. Sitting in this silence feels unbearable. The girls think maybe we had a huge fight or that we're getting divorced. But the truth is we didn't fight at all. We never do. They know that. I'm stuck here trying to make sense of it all. My mind keeps racing. Like, if someone had died, wouldn't I be the first person she called? If she was dealing with some deep trauma, wouldn't I be the one she'd turn to for comfort? But there's nothing. No explanation. No communication. Nothing adds up. So I'm here, worried, angry, scared, heartbroken, cycling through every emotion you can think of, trying to keep the house running and be strong for my daughters. But honestly, I'm drowning in the unknown. Why would someone just ghost their entire family like this? Update 1. I'm still figuring out how Reddit works, so I'm not sure how to link back to my original post. Sorry about that. Last night was rough. I barely slept. I probably won't be on the computer much today either, but I did read all the comments yesterday and kept going through them late into the night. So here's where things stand. I didn't hear anything from my father-in-law last night, which pushed me to finally contact the police. As many of you suggested, I asked them to do a wellness check. That ended up causing a whole new mess. I don't even know how to begin this part, but here goes. My wife's been involved with another man for at least 3 years, probably longer. Everyone who suspected something was right. It turns out the man she was seeing had a heart attack last Tuesday and passed away later that night. From what I've gathered, my mother-in-law definitely knew about the affair, and it seems likely that my sister-in-law did too. They've been covering for her. Even now, my wife still hasn't reached out. Not to me, not to our daughters. Nothing. I'm trying to shield the girls from all this for now. They don't need this kind of pain dumped on them. But truthfully, I have no clue where to go from here. What I do know is already tearing me apart inside. Just thank you to everyone who's offered advice or support. I'm not sure how I'm supposed to move forward with all this, but I'm trying. If you're someone who prays, please say one for me and for my girls. Update 2. A few people recommended this subreddit, so I finally joined. I've been reading through posts at night when the house is quiet, and the chaos of the day finally settles down. That's when my brain kicks into overdrive. I start spiraling. First the crushing sadness, then this wave of anger, then both at the same time. I can't sleep, and during the day, I just stumble around in a fog like a zombie. I'm still getting used to all the acronyms here. I guess Thursday was my D-Day. What I originally believed to be a 2-year affair now looks like it went on even longer. The guy, her affair partner, or AP as people call it, wasn't just some random fling. He was someone she'd known for a while, and it was his sudden death that brought all this to the surface. Right now, I'm still trying to piece together the full story, mostly with the help of my oldest daughter. There's a lot I'm not ready to share just yet. Honestly, I didn't think I'd keep posting about this situation, but so many of you have reached out with such kind words and solid advice that it's been surprisingly therapeutic. It breaks my heart to know how many people out there are carrying this same kind of pain. I'm truly sorry if you're one of them. In the past couple days, I've met with 2 different attorneys to talk through my options. I've also reached out to a few therapists, but the wait times where I live are ridiculously long. I'm trying to follow the advice I've gotten, avoiding alcohol, which isn't hard since I've never been a drinker, taking care of myself, working out. I mean, I've always been in pretty good shape for my age, but lately, it's hard to even find the motivation to get out of bed, let alone hit the gym. I know some of you will want the full timeline, the who, what, when, where, but please understand I'm just not there yet. Right now, I'm simply trying to figure out one small thing. How do I get to a place where I can sleep again? My wife was everything to me. She was my best friend since high school, the mother of my daughters. We had our own inside jokes, our silly handshakes, little things that made us, us. And now it's all just gone. Every memory, every milestone, every laugh, it feels like none of it mattered to her. That realization breaks me in ways I can't even explain. I try not to think about it, but when I do, the sadness comes in like a flood. Then the anger shows up, and not the quiet kind. I'm talking full-on rage. I scream into pillows, punch the mattress until my arms feel numb. It's a vicious cycle. I only fall asleep when I'm completely drained. Then I wake up out of nowhere, and the whole storm starts over again. The second I open my eyes, my brain kicks in, running wild with thoughts I can't control. Whatever energy I have left, well, it's not much. I've been leaning on my daughters more than I should lately, and honestly, that's not fair to them. They've been trying to take care of me like they're the parents, and it breaks my heart. They deserve better. Sleep. That's become my white whale. I don't know how any of you managed to sleep after finding out about an affair. How did you deal with the silence at night, with nothing but your own thoughts echoing in your head? I've decided that outside of making sure my daughters are okay, sleep needs to become my #1 priority, but no matter how hard I try, it just isn't happening. So, I'm hoping maybe someone here can help guide me through that. Thank you. Update 3. Still trying to get used to how things work on Reddit, so I'm not sure how much of my story I should repeat in each update. But here's where things stand now. It's been just over a week since D-Day, the day I found out, and I've since learned that my wife's affair wasn't just 2 years long like I first thought. It's been going on for over 4 years. I don't have the exact timeline yet, but I'm guessing it started as something emotional and eventually turned physical. I keep wondering how the pandemic might have played into all of this. The lockdowns, the distance, the isolation. I might never get those answers. Anyway, something big happened yesterday. My in-laws made a surprise visit to see the girls. My wife's been staying at their place since all of this blew up, which, if I'm being honest, feels like complete BS. They stayed with the girls for about 15 minutes, just enough time to say hello, before asking to speak with me privately. That conversation was long. I won't go into every detail here, but the gist of it was this. My wife wants to come home. She's scared, though, afraid of facing what she's done, afraid of the consequences, afraid of us. Her parents spent a lot of that conversation trying to find out whether I plan to file for divorce. They pushed hard, trying to nudge me toward forgiveness and reconciliation. It was clear they were ashamed and embarrassed, not just for her but for themselves. And just as clear that they were ready for her to move out of their house. The whole thing was civil, even respectful. I kept it calm. I lied, though. I told them I wasn't sure what I was going to do next, but the truth is, I've already decided I'm going to file for divorce. I didn't tell them that, because once I do, I know I'll never get the truth out of my wife. And maybe I never will. But I want her to sit down across from me and explain it all face to face. After 17 years of marriage, after knowing each other since high school, after raising 3 kids together and building a lifetime of memories, I want her to look me in the eye and say it all out loud. No more hiding. I want to be able to tell my kids that I gave her the chance to explain, that I gave her an opportunity to be honest, to apologize, and to face the damage she's caused like an adult. I want them to know I tried to handle this with dignity, tried to take the high road, even when every part of me was breaking. I've been trying to choose the path that sets the best example for my daughters, even if I don't always know if I'm doing it right. Legally, there's nothing I can do to keep her out of our house. My lawyer was clear on that. If she wants to come home, I can't stop her. And as much as I don't want that right now, I know it's a possibility. The girls and I have actually started settling into a rhythm without her. Things have been calm for the first time in a while. So I told her parents something I didn't think she'd agree to. I said she could come home, if and only when she sits down with me, in person, looks me in the eye, and walks me through the full story. Start to finish. No dodging, no lies, no holding back. I want every single question answered. And then, she needs to do the same with the girls. Sit down with them. Apologize in person. Let them ask whatever they want and be ready to answer. They already know most of it. It's only fair. Now legally, she doesn't have to do any of that. She can walk back into the house whenever she wants. But if she's truly afraid to face us, maybe that hesitation gives us a little time. Maybe we can use that space to our advantage. Is it wrong that I'm trying to delay her moving back in? I'm not trying to be shady or dishonest. I just don't feel ready to live under the same roof again. Not yet. If I can stall things a little longer, I might have a chance to get my mind right and start making solid plans. There's a mandatory 90-day waiting period for divorce in our state anyway, so I know none of this is happening overnight. Sooner or later, she's going to come back. Eventually, we'll both be working again, and life will keep moving, no matter how broken everything feels. But if I can buy just a little more time, I'll take it. Lately, she's been texting the girls. She tells them she doesn't want a divorce, keeps apologizing over and over. The girls have shown me the messages. She checks in about me too, asks how I'm doing every day. From what I can tell, the weight of what she's done is finally starting to hit her, especially over the past few days. But how do I handle this? Was my demand unreasonable? Because let's be real, she's probably coming home sooner rather than later. I've made peace with that. I'm not shocked or shaken by it anymore. I always knew this moment was coming. Right now, I just want to make the smartest choice I can for my daughters, and then figure out what's best for me. Thank you to everyone who's been supporting me through this. Every bit of advice, every encouraging word, it means more than I can say. Update 4. This one might feel a little anticlimactic, but I've got to get it off my chest. Sorry if it runs long. This past weekend was rough, emotionally exhausting. But the biggest thing? My wife came home yesterday. There had been some build-up to it all week. Normally, any time she walked through that front door, I'd meet her with a hug and a kiss. That was just our thing. But this time was different. When she stepped inside, the air was thick with tension. Nothing about it felt right. She actually came toward me, trying to give me a hug before saying a word. But I turned away. I couldn't pretend everything was okay. She moved through the house like nothing had happened, like she hadn't just ghosted her entire family for weeks. It felt unreal. Once she got settled, I sat her down. I reminded her of what I'd asked, that if she truly loved her family, she'd sit with me and tell me everything. I needed her to explain her disappearance, her silence, her deception. But just like on the phone earlier in the week, she said she still wasn't ready. It took everything in me not to explode right there. I tried to breathe through it, tried to hold it together. But I couldn't. After what felt like an eternity of silence, I just let it out. I told her I knew. That I knew she'd been having an affair for over 4 years with a coworker, that she had planned to leave me for him, that she cut off all contact and abandoned her family. And now, here she was, standing in my kitchen, refusing to honor the one condition I'd set for her return. And I told her I wanted a divorce. This is where things got strange. Like, genuinely strange. Her whole posture shifted. Her face went blank. Her eyes got wide, and then she just froze. She stood in the kitchen staring down at the floor, completely still. No tears, no words, no anger. Nothing. Just silence. I didn't expect that. I was braced for anything. Maybe she'd break down crying. Maybe she'd start yelling. Maybe she'd even try to spin it and blame me somehow. Or maybe she'd sit down with a serious tone and say, "Okay, let's talk about it." But no, what I got was a blank stare and 5 full minutes of silence. We just stood there, in that quiet kitchen, not saying a word. It was honestly one of the strangest moments of my life. She didn't know what to say. And the truth is, I didn't either. I had read through every comment you all left, every piece of advice, every bit of support. I even took notes. I actually sat in front of a mirror and practiced, trying to prepare myself for every possible reaction she might have when we finally talked. Except this one. When she just stood there in silence, saying absolutely nothing, I froze. I didn't know what to do with that. So, in the moment, I decided to just lay everything out. Everything I knew or thought I knew about the affair. Maybe it was dumb, maybe not, but I started piecing it all together out loud. I talked about how I believed she met him, how her sister may have been involved, how things played out during the lockdowns. I even added some assumptions of my own. She didn't correct me, didn't interrupt, She just kept staring at the floor. And the longer she said nothing, the angrier I got. Still, I made sure not to raise my voice. I didn't want to scream. I didn't swear or get obscene. I just kept talking, even though she gave me absolutely nothing back. Eventually, I stopped, took a breath, and after another long stretch of silence, all that anger shifted into something else, something heavier. I looked at her and asked, in the quietest voice, "What did I do to make you stop loving me?" I asked if she ever truly loved me, and if he, this man, was worth all of this. Nothing. Not a word. No movement. No emotion. No tears. No explanation. She just stood there, head down, totally still. And that silence, that cold, hollow silence hurt more than D-Day ever did. I stood there frozen, unsure what to do next. And then, somehow, it got worse. Turns out, our daughters had been listening. The entire time, I've been working so hard these past few weeks to protect them, putting their needs before mine every single day. But in that moment, I got emotional. I didn't stop to think where they were or what they might hear. And our oldest, furious, stormed down the stairs and let it all out. Every bit of anger she'd been holding in came pouring out. My wife didn't say a word. She just ran upstairs and locked herself in the bedroom. That's where we're at now. Last night, I could hear her crying behind the door until I finally passed out. Only our youngest daughter has tried speaking to her. The rest of us have kept our distance, avoided her. If I can find the courage, I'm planning to suggest she go stay with her sister until the divorce is finalized. But this is still her house too. And the idea of all of us living under the same roof while things are like this, it's going to be miserable. I was wrong about her. Completely wrong. All of you were right. I was wrong about everything, our marriage, our history, every meaningful moment we ever shared. I honestly believed she'd walk through that door, break down in tears, and beg for forgiveness. I thought she'd fall apart under the weight of her guilt and finally tell the truth. But none of that happened. This woman, who once drove all the way back to a farmer's market because she got $20 too much in change, is now acting like we aren't worth that same integrity. Like I'm not worth it. Maybe I never was. So now what? Today was rough. Awkward barely begins to describe it. The girls and I tried to keep up the little routine we've built over the past couple weeks, but it's not the same anymore. It can't be. If I could, I'd fast forward through all of this, skip the divorce, the weird conversations, the fights, the uncomfortable silences. I just want to get to the other side of this mess. To those of you who've had to live with your wayward spouse while going through all of this, especially with kids, how did you do it? How did you keep it together? Because right now, I'm doing everything I can to stay level for my daughters. I'm trying so hard to be calm, to be steady. But I don't know if I can keep this up for 2 more months. School's going to start soon, and this storm isn't even close to over. Well, this is my life now, I guess. I don't know what's still coming or if the worst is already behind me, but I want to thank all of you for sticking with me through this. I've truly appreciated every bit of support, advice, and encouragement as I try to figure out what comes next. Update 5. I'm not doing great. Honestly, I haven't been okay since my wife moved back in, and I learned the full truth about her affair. I've been putting on a good front for the girls, mostly. I try to say the right things, think the right things, and stay composed. But tonight I broke a little. Like so many of you say, it comes in waves. And tonight, a big one hit me hard. I lost my composure. Couldn't hold it together the way I wanted to. The divorce papers are filed. That part's official. But my wife still hasn't hired a lawyer. I've been trying to be patient and calm about it, quietly hoping this might turn into an uncontested divorce, something we could handle mostly on our own. But after tonight, I don't know if that's going to happen. Right now, we're living under the same roof during the week. On Fridays, she leaves to stay at her sister's place and comes back on Sunday nights. Her work is close to our home, while her sister's an hour away, if traffic's light. We've kept this routine going for a couple weeks now. Mostly we avoid each other. The girls and I are doing our best to keep things normal, while she kind of floats around the edges of the house. There are some small interactions in the evenings, but that's about it. My oldest daughter won't speak to her at all. They had a couple of heated arguments, and things just blew up. Right now, silence is the best option. Lately, I've been trying to take in all of your advice, along with what I've been reading elsewhere. I've worked really hard on staying disciplined around my wife. It takes everything I've got, but when we talk, I keep it short and distant. Still respectful, still polite, but cold. Detached. That's the only way I can get through the day. Until tonight. The last few Fridays, she's usually grabbed a few things and left for her sisters before I even got home from work. But not tonight. Tonight, she waited for me, just stood in the kitchen when I walked in. I tried to just walk right past her, not wanting to engage, but she gently grabbed my hand and stopped me. Then she asked, "Is this how you're going to treat me, just because I'm not ready to talk to you about the affair?" And just like that, she finally said the word. The first time she's even acknowledged it since everything came crashing down almost a month ago. I really did try. I swear I tried. To just walk away, to bite my tongue and let it go. But the girls weren't home at the time, and that anger inside me, it had been building for weeks. And once it cracked open, I couldn't hold it back. I let it all out. Every pain, every frustration, every ache and memory that's been tormenting me since the day I found out. I dumped all of it out on her. I honestly couldn't even tell you how long I went on. I lost all track of time. I raised my voice, yeah. I got loud. I got animated. I was emotional, broken, furious. Everything I've been suppressing just exploded out of me. I told her how shattered I feel. How every single day feels like some twisted punishment. I told her what it's been like trying to stay strong for our daughters while I fall apart inside. I mean, I could write 4,000 words right now trying to recap everything I said. But once I got going, there was no stopping me. Yeah, I cried. Again. And afterward, I was just so damn mad at myself. I'd been doing so well. Keeping it together. Staying cold, distant, calm. But she got to me. I let her get under my skin, and I knew it would happen eventually. I hate that it did. I hate it. I feel disgusting even admitting it. But the pressure had been building for too long, and there's only so much you can release in a weight room before it all comes spilling out somewhere else. And here's the twist. For the first time, she broke too. She actually started sobbing, hard. It caught me off guard. Ugly crying, shaking, whispering, "I'm so sorry," over and over again through her tears. That's all she said. Just, "I'm sorry," on repeat. And I'll be honest, it felt good. I wish it didn't. I wish I didn't care. But a part of me needed to see that. Needed to know she was actually feeling something. That there was still a person in there capable of guilt, regret, compassion, anything. I didn't wait for her to say more. I left the kitchen while she was still crying and told her to please just leave me alone. I couldn't handle another word. I guess she lingered for a bit before finally grabbing her things and heading back to her sisters. The girls came home about half an hour later, and yeah, they knew something happened. I didn't say anything, and I don't think I will. The younger two have been doing so much better lately. I don't want to shake that progress. And my oldest, telling her would just pour gasoline on the fire, and there's already enough smoke. God, I hate this. I hate all of it. I should have held it together. I should have just stayed cold, walked past her, and said nothing. Looking back, it feels like maybe she was trying to talk to me about the affair, but didn't know how to begin. And then, boom, I exploded. Now I'm actually starting to worry about her. I know some of you might criticize me for that, and I get it. You'll say she made her bed, that she deserves what she's going through. And maybe you're right, but she's still a human being. She's still the mother of my daughters. She's been isolated, alone with her thoughts, and almost everyone in her life has turned their back on her. And as angry as I am, I don't want her to fall apart completely. I don't want her to do something she can't come back from. So yeah, big setback for me. I'm really disappointed in myself. Sorry for the long rant. I already dumped all of this on my brother over the phone tonight too. I guess I'm just trying to get through this the best I can. Maybe I'll reset and start again Monday. I'm only human. It actually felt good to let it all out. But now the guilt's sinking in. Should I text her or just let it be? I don't know. I'm a mess right now. But thank you. Thank you for listening. For being here. For helping me through all of this chaos. And one positive thing, we've finally started therapy. So there's that. But man, this is so damn hard. Just so hard. I know a lot of you have reached out, and I truly appreciate it. I really do. Most of you are right. Things have been far from okay. I haven't had the time or the strength to be online much lately. Honestly, I thought maybe I'd take a break from the internet altogether, but this past week, it's been brutal. I've been spiraling. Everything's been slipping backward. My wife, well, soon-to-be ex-wife, hasn't given me a moment of peace. All week, she's been overly kind, constantly apologizing for the affair, crying nonstop, and smothering me. She knocks on my door late at night, begging to talk. Sometimes I respond. Sometimes I just ignore her. Depends on the moment. But by Wednesday night, I'd had enough. I snapped. Told her to just leave me alone. Then, last night happened. It's been just over a month since she moved back in, since everything blew up. And while we've fallen into this weird, tense routine of cohabitating, last night felt different. After the girls went to bed, she came to my room again. But this time, it wasn't like the other nights. She asked if we could talk, in private. Something about her tone was different. I was hesitant, but I agreed. We didn't want to risk another confrontation in front of the kids, so we went out to the garage and sat in my car. We were out there for nearly 3 hours. She told me everything. I'm still not sure how much I want to share here. I haven't slept. I was up all night listening to her cry again. I cried too. Then I'd get angry. Then cry again. Then more anger. It was like riding an emotional roller coaster I couldn't get off of. Forgive me if it takes a day or two to respond to any of you. I just need to get this out first, then maybe try to sleep. What hasn't helped is how she's been all evening, still apologizing, still begging for another chance. I couldn't take it anymore and had to leave the house for a few hours just to get away from her. Being near her right now is unbearable. Anyway, here's what she told me. Her affair started almost 5 years ago. It wasn't romantic at first. Her sister introduced her to the guy, her AP. He was a higher-up at a company my wife wanted to work for. He helped her get a foot in the door. That part, she insists, wasn't motivated by the affair. She really wanted the job. But once she was in, the door to something else opened too. He started flirting. It started with texts, then pictures, then more messages. And eventually, it turned physical just before COVID hit. She told her sister, confessed. And for a moment, she wanted to come clean to me, too. But she didn't. She buried it, decided to say nothing. She says she cut off contact with him shortly after. But when the lockdowns lifted, he reached out again, and she let him back in. The affair picked right back up. Eventually, the physical part started again too. She claims she ended it a couple of times out of guilt. But every time, she went back. So really, it never ended. It just kept cycling. She brought a handwritten packet with her. 7 pages long, a full timeline of the affair. She read the whole thing out loud, answering my questions as we went. She admitted she lied about everything: weekend trips with the girls, work travel, traffic delays, family emergencies, shopping trips. All of it. Just excuses to spend time with him. I had suspected some of it, but the depth of the lies? It was worse than I imagined. She looked me in the eye and told me all of this. And the more I heard, the worse I felt. Everyone here was right about the signs, or the lack of them. Thing is, while all of this was happening, while she was deep into the affair, her affection toward me never really faded. Not in the way I'd read about in other stories. She didn't grow cold. She didn't pull away. We were still intimate, and while there were changes, it was never enough to raise alarms. No big red flags. I just trusted her. She admitted she fell in love with him, said she imagined a whole life with him. He was older, divorced, single. Promised her expensive things, vacations, a new kind of life. And she started dreaming about it. Started fantasizing about escaping the weight of her responsibilities here at home. Said the thrill of it all was too strong to resist. And then she said it. She got bored. Bored of our routine. Bored of the same rhythm of family life. She was emotional, very candid, and she seemed honest. And I broke again. I sat there in that car, crying as she talked, hurting in ways I can't even explain. And when she was done laying it all out, she told me she's always loved me, that she still does. And she said she'd do anything at all to try and save this marriage. A lot of you predicted she'd say that. And you were right. But it felt hollow, rehearsed, like a script she'd been working on for weeks. I've known this woman for over half my life. I can tell when she's lying. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think I am. Still, I held myself together better than I did last week. I did say a few things I probably shouldn't have. Got in a jab about her AP seeing multiple women and how she was just one more name on the list, one more woman he was willing to toss aside. That stung. I could see it hit her. There have been a million thoughts running through my mind, imagining what I'd say when this moment finally came, when she finally confessed. 100 things I thought I might throw at her. Lines meant to hurt. Questions I'd demand answers to. But there was one question I knew I had to ask. I looked at her and said, if he were still alive, and you had to choose between him and me, who would you choose? She hesitated. Then she mumbled, that's not fair. I didn't let it go. I pushed. Eventually, she said, of course I'd pick you. And I just shook my head. I told her the hesitation was the reason I was divorcing her. Because I knew she was lying again. That broke her. She started sobbing, and that was the last thing she said. She just cried and cried, and I sat there quietly beside her. After a while, I told her we're getting divorced, that we owe it to our daughters to be civil, to be good parents, to show up in their lives and be present, no matter how much we've fallen apart. And I told her that after all the pain she's caused me, I hope she at least has the decency to go through this fairly and peacefully. If she ever truly loved me, she'll prove it by ending this the right way. And then I said one last thing, something I borrowed from a post I read online. I'm not a petty person, and I didn't say it to hurt her. But I meant every word. I leaned over, kissed her on the forehead, and said, I would have loved you forever. Then I got out of the car and went to bed. Of course, I didn't sleep. And here I am again, another sleepless night, just sitting in the dark, wondering how the hell I got here. At least one thing is clear. Her window to contest the divorce is gone. That's something, I guess. One less thing to worry about. But I still feel like I'm drowning. I keep bouncing between crushing sadness and pure rage. It's exhausting. Hearing everything she said last night, it was too much. And honestly, I wish I didn't know. I wish I could forget every word. And the worst part? She could have lied. Maybe the whole thing was fabricated. I don't know. But what she said, it lined up perfectly with everything I've pieced together over the last month. It fit too well. So now what? I keep having a few good days. I start to feel strong again. And then something hits hard, and I'm right back in the pit. It feels like it's been months. But it's only been weeks. Somehow both too fast and way too long. And here's what I keep coming back to. Imagine the only woman you've ever loved, the only one you've ever kissed, sitting across from you, and telling you she cheated on you for over 4 years, not because of some deep rift or disconnect, but because she was bored. Not because we fell out of love. Not because we stopped trying. Not because we had a dead bedroom or constant fights. Just bored. I don't even know if that makes it better or worse. Anyway, thank you. Truly. For reading, for being there, for helping me survive this hellish ride. It's been a couple of really, really bad nights.